What up, folks? I'm back once again doing another video game review, and this time I'm reviewing Rampage. Now, this game was originally released in the arcades in the mid '80s, and it was pretty much ported to different consoles like the NES for Data East and the Atari Lynx by Atari and other consoles. But for the sake of this review, I'm going to talk about the NES version of Rampage. Now, the plot of this particular game is you go and play as Lazy the Lizard, George the Gorilla, or Ralph the Wolf, and you go around destroying building different cities across the United States and some parts of Canada. And for some reason, I don't know why, Ralph the Wolf wasn't included in the NES port of Rampage. And now, Rampage consists of pretty much 128 stages, which is pretty long back then, and which I call days for the sake of the game. And you start the first day in California. I want to say you start in Sacramento, and as you destroy all the buildings in each city, you proceed to go through the southwest, then through the southeast, and you go up through the east, which will include the Canadian cities of Montreal, Ottawa, Quebec, and Toronto. Then you proceed toward the Midwest and stuff like that until you destroy the last city in the game. Now there's pretty much different types of hazards that you will face, pretty much people with guns, helicopters, bomb squad, police cruisers, tanks, paratroopers, waters, and the bridge if it gets destroyed. Because if that bridge gets destroyed, you fall right in the water, and you pretty much lose health if you get shot, or if you swallow a bomb left behind by the bomb squad, even skull and bones, if you swallow that. Now you can regain your health by eating a turkey, or some drink in a can, or the people who are actually shooting at you from their buildings and everything. And you can also lose health by falling off a building too. If your health goes down to zero, pretty much you'll shrink down to size into a human. And if you happen to be Lazy the Lizard, you'll shrink into a woman. Ralph and George, you shrink down to guys. And if that happens 3 times, the final time you'll shrink and walk off in shame. And pretty much the game is over if that happens. So you want to grab as many turkeys as possible to make sure your health is regained and destroy as many buildings as possible. Now, the graphics for the NES version of Rampage are rather bland, and honestly it did not age well. And the design of the game is okay at best, but they could have did better on both the graphics and the design. Plus there's not a lot of it's real lacking in the color palette area. And the gameplay is mediocre at best. It's kind of forgettable, and it definitely did not set any standards in that particular area. And the soundtrack to Rampage is pretty generic at best, and it's kind of forgettable too. There's nothing. It has no like variety and everything. Now, Rampage for the NES is one of those games where it could have been great, but at the same time, it just ended up being just a mediocre title that's based off an arcade game that was tipping on the tipping on being mediocre to begin with. Most likely, the problem was that Data East was given the task to make the NES port, and let's face it, Data East wasn't known for making classics. Like, give you a good example. You have like Metroid, Super Mario Brothers, uh, Castlevania, Ninja Gaiden. All those are classics. But Data East ended up making some turd fest um, like the RoboCop trilogy, the tie into the RoboCop trilogy, and Bad Dudes in it. A lot of people have mentioned how bad those games were. They should have been. They should have had another company to make Rampage, in my opinion. If you're looking for some mindless fun and destroying buildings at the same time, then I will recommend Rampage. Other than that, I would say stick to other games on the NES, like say Castlevania, Ninja Gaiden, or Kid Icarus, or something like that. As far as the score is concerned, I would definitely I give it a 5. You know what I'm saying? Because everything about it is like just mediocre, bland, and stuff like that, and it's pretty forgettable. With that being said, if you play Rampage for the NES or any other console, or even the arcade version, you can mention it in the comment section. If you like this review of Rampage for the NES, you could don't hesitate to click the thumbs up button, and don't hesitate to share it on like Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. And don't forget to subscribe. This is your boy Big Pinchoid Fan 12 signing off.